I said stop. Return the document. Where did you get this? You already confirmed it. What's happening?
Everyone stay back.
This makes no sense. People like you don't walk in here with money like this. Lower your voice.
You expect me to believe this is yours?
Call the issuing bank. I already did. Stay out of this.
Preserve the check. Do not destroy that.
It's fraudulent. No, it's verified.
Sir, step back. Tell her to stop.
I run this branch.
I'm recording.
Put that away. Please don't tear it.
Don't touch it. That is my property.
Call the police.
Why are you locking us in? For safety.
From whom? He hasn't threatened anyone. He refuses to leave.
You still have my identification.
I have. Who called?
I did. Attempted fraud. The check was verified.
Twice. He became aggressive.
Did he threaten anyone? No. Preserve the pieces.
Who tore them?
I did. This says verified. Preliminary.
2 confirmations. You're suspended. Then copy the log first.
He never raised his voice. The manager ordered the doors locked. Preserve every record. Nope. Your Honor. What did you call him?
Chief, you know him?
Secure the evidence first.
The system was changed. He never told us who he was.
He's a judge? Preserve.
The bank manager held the $2 million check between 2 manicured fingers, laughed once, and tore it straight down the middle. "People like you don't walk in here with money like this," she said, loud enough for every customer to hear. The older black man in the worn charcoal jacket did not raise his voice. He only asked her to preserve the pieces. Why was he so calm while security blocked the door? Why did the responding officer suddenly stop writing? And why, 12 minutes later, did the police chief enter the lobby, remove his cap, and say, "Your Honor, I'm sorry. Stay until the end, because the check was only the first thing that bank had tried to destroy." The chief's cap remained in his hand. No one in the lobby moved. The torn halves of the cashier's check lay apart on the floor, one near the queue rope, the other beneath a brochure stand. Cold air stirred one corner. "Your Honor," Daniel Cross said, "are you all right?" Marcus Reed adjusted the cuff of his cream shirt beneath the jacket. His glasses had slipped down his nose. "Secure those pieces first, Chief." Evelyn Price stepped forward. He presented a fraudulent instrument and refused to leave. Tessa Ward stopped writing. Daniel faced her. "Did you verify that?" "I arrived 4 minutes ago. Mr. Reed was seated in the interview room. He was cooperative." "He gave a false name," Evelyn said. Marcus looked at her. "I gave my legal name." A customer raised his phone. "You cannot enter my branch with $2 million and expect no questions," Evelyn said. "You may ask lawful questions," Marcus replied. "You may not destroy a document because you dislike the answers." The wall clock clicked to 4:37. Daniel crouched beside the first half. "Nobody touches anything. Officer Ward, photograph both pieces and collect them separately." Behind the counter, Owen Pike pressed one hand against the laminate. His knuckles had lost their color. Evelyn pointed at Marcus. "Why are you treating him like the victim? He is under investigation." "No," Tessa said. "At this moment, he is not." Marcus's phone vibrated inside his satchel. 3 short pulses, the alert Sarah Kim had promised if the legal center's deadline changed. He did not reach for it. Daniel noticed. "Do you need that?" "In a moment." Evelyn folded her arms. "So a powerful man makes one call and everyone bows?" Marcus glanced at his gold wedding band. "I made no call." Behind the teller station, Nadia Flores inhaled sharply. She held a strip of printer paper, still warm and curling. A green status line crossed the top. "I did," she said. Owen whispered, "Nadia, don't." She stepped around the counter, her shoes tapping on the marble. The check cleared preliminary verification at 4:12. The issuing bank confirmed the serial number and amount. I printed the log before the record changed. Evelyn's jaw tightened. "You had no authority to remove internal documents." "I had authority to complete the transaction." "You are suspended." Nadia's hand shook, but the page stayed raised. "Then suspend me after someone copies this." Tessa took the printout by its corners. The paper made a dry whisper. Marcus's phone vibrated again. He opened the satchel. Beneath the screen lay a faded photograph of a woman laughing in summer light. The message read, "Seller signing at 5. Without confirmation, we lose the building." His fingers failed to close the brass clasp. Daniel saw it. "What is it?" "A deadline." "Can I help?" Marcus looked toward the torn check. "Preserve the evidence. That is the help I need." Outside, the late sun slipped behind the courthouse dome, casting window frames across the floor. At the counter, the transaction screen went black. Owen pulled his hand from the keyboard. Nadia stared at him. "What did you just do?" 7 hours earlier, Marcus had stood beneath an oak tree, holding that same check beside his wife's grave. At 7:08 that morning, Marcus pressed his shoe into the damp grass and straightened the brass vase beside Miriam's headstone. The cemetery smelled of wet leaves. Beyond the trees, a mower coughed, stopped, then started again. Marcus set a paper cup on the stone ledge and opened the brown leather satchel against his leg. "You always hated lukewarm coffee," he said. The photograph showed Miriam laughing into the wind. An amber leaf had dried beneath one corner. Marcus lifted it and placed the $2 million cashier's check where the picture had been. "The farm closed yesterday." His voice sounded too formal in the empty row. The money represented 41 acres of pecan trees, a barn, and the porch where Miriam had spent her last autumn wrapped in a gray blanket. His phone rang. "Dad?" Leah said. "Please tell me you're not still there." "I'm leaving now." "You said that 20 minutes ago." Marcus turned the coffee opening away from the wind. "The bank opens at 9. The center needs confirmation by 5. Sarah called me twice." "I know the deadline." "No, you know the paperwork." Leah's breath caught against the speaker. "You don't know what today is doing to you." A crow landed on the stone wall. Its claws scraped once across granite. Marcus looked at Miriam's name. She wanted that center. She wanted you alive inside your own life. He said nothing. "Every promise to Mom becomes another courtroom," Leah continued. "You build rules around it and sentence yourself." Marcus folded the check sleeve shut. "I am depositing the funds, meeting Sarah, and coming home." "For dinner?" "For dinner. You said that last week. This time I wrote it down." That earned half a laugh. Before hanging up, Leah said, "Don't let strangers make you prove who you are today." Marcus stared at the dark screen after the call ended. His sedan was beaded with mist. He wiped the window, set the satchel on the passenger seat, and checked the envelope. Deed transfer. Sale agreement. Identification. Donation letter. Everything aligned by size. At 8:26, he entered a diner across from the courthouse. The bell gave a tired jingle. Ruth Bell, a retired school secretary in a red wool hat, occupied the last stool. "Judge Reed," she said, eyeing his jacket. "You hiding from somebody?" "From neckties." The waitress poured coffee. "Big day?" Ruth asked. "An old promise." Ruth nodded toward the satchel. "Heavy one?" He looked through the steamed window at the bank. Employees moved behind its glass doors, switching on lights one row at a time. Heavier than it should be. At 8:51, Sarah Kim called. "The seller moved signing to 5 sharp," she said. "No extension. We need confirmation before then." "You'll have it." "Marcus, if anything delays you, I'll call." "You never call when something delays you." The diner clock clicked above the pie case. Marcus left cash beneath the saucer and stood. Outside, the wind had sharpened. He buttoned his charcoal jacket, tucked Miriam's photograph into his inner pocket, and crossed toward the bank as the last exterior light above its doors went dark. Inside, A woman in a navy suit watched him approach and said something to the man beside her. Neither of them smiled. At 8:54, Evelyn Price rubbed a cloth across the brass nameplate on her office door until her reflection sharpened. The 45-year-old branch manager was compact and immaculate, with an auburn bob and pearl earrings she touched whenever numbers worried her. This morning, she had touched them 12 times. "Lobby music lower," she called. "Blinds higher. Owen, the brochure rack is crooked." Owen Pike, 36, assistant manager, nudged the rack with his shoe. It was straight. It looked uncertain. The air smelled of lemon cleaner and hot toner. Fluorescent panels hummed above the counters. On Evelyn's monitor, an unread message flashed. "Zytek's Regional Compliance Review. Arrival confirmed, 10:30 a.m. She minimized it. Nadia Flores counted her drawer at Station 3. At 29, she wore her dark curls pinned with the silver clip her mother had given her on her first day. She stacked the bills twice, then looked toward Evelyn. "Are we changing verification procedure today?" "We are improving judgment. The manual says large cashier's checks go through issuer confirmation, identification review, and a hold if required. The manual doesn't sit across from people." Nadia turned the laminated guide so the steps faced upward. "It still applies to them." Owen cleared his throat. "Nobody said it doesn't." Evelyn looked at him. "We're adding caution," he said. "Exactly." She faced the 6 employees by the center desk. "The reviewer will watch for irregular activity. Any transaction that feels inconsistent with the customer in front of you comes to me first." A teller near the vault shifted her weight. "Inconsistent how?" "Use common sense." The question remained beneath the hum of the lights. Nadia tapped the manual. "Shouldn't we document additional criteria?" Evelyn turned one pearl between 2 fingers. "Do you want to explain another loss to Regional?" No one answered. 3 weeks earlier, the branch had released funds from a forged business draft. The money was recovered, but a long-standing client transferred every account by noon. Evelyn's name remained on the exception approval. Owen stepped closer. "I told the reviewer you corrected the weakness." "You told him?" "He asked who authorized the release." "And?" "I said the team failed to escalate." Nadia looked up. Evelyn's mouth relaxed. "Good." At 8:58, the front lock clicked. Cold air slipped through the seam, carrying pavement's smell. Owen checked his tie in the security mirror. What if something unusual comes in before the audit? Evelyn opened the teller control screen. We don't let one customer become the story of this branch. The unread message blinked again. Nadia leaned toward Owen. Her instruction conflicts with policy. "Not today," he whispered. "Policy doesn't know what day it is." He glanced toward Evelyn's office. "Keep your drawer clean and let management manage." The exterior light switched off at 9. Evelyn smoothed her sleeve and nodded to the guard. Glass doors opened. An older black man in a worn charcoal jacket entered with a brown leather satchel. He paused to let an elderly woman step ahead of him. Evelyn's eyes moved from his shoes to the satchel. Then she said, "Watch Station 3." The ticket machine coughed out A017 as Marcus held the door for Ruth Bell. "After you," he said. Ruth adjusted her red wool hat. "You were here first." "I can wait 5 minutes." The warm lobby smelled of carpet glue and toner. Piano music drifted above the counters. Marcus slipped the ticket into his palm and crossed toward Station 3. Nadia lifted a hand. "Sir, I can help you here." Before he reached her, Evelyn stepped from behind the glass partition. "Ms. Flores, take the business client first." A man in a camel coat looked over his shoulder. "I just arrived." "It will only take a moment," Evelyn said. Marcus stopped beside the rope. "I can wait." Nadia looked at the number in his hand. "He has the next ticket." Evelyn touched one pearl earring. "Mr. Carver has an appointment." "I don't," the man said. The piano continued for 3 bright notes. "Then consider it courtesy service," Evelyn replied. Marcus folded the ticket once, smoothing the crease with his thumb. "Please, serve him." Ruth watched from beside the brochure rack. The man approached Nadia's window. $1,200. She completed it quickly, each key clicking in the quiet, then pressed the call button. 017. Marcus stepped forward. Evelyn intercepted him. "What kind of transaction?" "A deposit." "Personal or commercial?" "Charitable." Her gaze dropped to his canvas jacket and brown satchel. "For charitable accounts, we have specialized staff. I need a cashier's check verified and deposited into an existing account." "How large is it?" Marcus looked at Nadia. "That belongs at the counter." Evelyn's shoulders tightened. "Large instruments require advance notice." "Your published policy does not say that." Owen emerged, carrying a clipboard. "Is there a problem?" "No," Marcus said. "I am waiting for service." Evelyn pointed to a side desk beneath a sign for basic assistance. "Sit there. Someone will determine whether we can help you." Nadia's screen still showed his number. "I'm available now." "You are not assigned to exception review," Evelyn said. Marcus rested the satchel against his shoe. The leather felt cold beneath his fingers. Ruth stepped closer. "He didn't ask for an exception." Evelyn faced her. "Ma'am, wait your turn." "I am waiting. That's why I can see this." The guard glanced over, then lowered his eyes. Marcus bent to retrieve a document sleeve that had shifted inside the open satchel. For a second, a navy folder showed beneath it, stamped with a small gold judicial seal. Ruth recognized the shape from years of processing courthouse mail. She said nothing, but her mouth tightened. At 9:07, the display changed to A018 without Marcus being served. Nadia reached beneath the counter and stopped the automatic sequence. "Mr. Reed," she said, reading his license as he placed it before her, "I can begin verification." Evelyn turned. "You know him?" "No. His identification is in front of me." Marcus laid the check sleeve beside it. Thick paper met the counter with a soft tap. Evelyn saw the amount through the transparent edge. Her fingers froze against her earring. "$2 million?" she said, loud enough for the lobby to hear. $2 million? Evelyn repeated. A pen stopped scratching nearby. The man in the camel coat turned. Even the piano faded between songs. Marcus kept one hand on the leather satchel. "Please lower your voice." "This is a public transaction area," Evelyn said. "That does not make my finances public." Nadia slid the check beneath the scanner. "Mr. Reed, may I see a second form of identification?" Marcus placed an employee card face down beside his license, keeping the title covered. Evelyn reached for it. "Let me." Nadia held on. "I'm verifying the name and photograph." Owen appeared at Evelyn's shoulder. "Any issue?" "A charitable deposit for $2 million from a walk-in customer." "The amount does not change the procedure," Marcus said. The scanner chimed. Nadia entered the routing and serial numbers. "Name on the instrument matches his identification." Evelyn leaned toward the screen. "That proves only the name printed on it." Nadia selected issuer verification. A small wheel spun. Ruth Bell stood by the brochure rack, both hands around her purse strap. The guard shifted closer, then stopped when Marcus looked his way. "Where did you get this?" Evelyn asked. From the closing agent for property sold yesterday. What property? My family farm. You own a farm? I did. Her eyes moved over his worn jacket. How many acres? That question is not required to authenticate a cashier's check. It is if I believe the transaction is suspicious. Then state the basis for your belief. Owen's mouth opened, but no words came. The printer behind Nadia woke with a mechanical whir. Warm paper began feeding into the tray. Nadia read the screen. Preliminary verification is complete. The issuing bank confirms the serial number, amount, and payee. Evelyn tapped the counter. Preliminary is not final. It means there is no mismatch. It means an automated system found none. Marcus checked the clock. 9:13. Place the standard hold if policy requires it. The receiving account needs confirmation before 5. What account? The Miriam Reed Community Legal Center. A woman near the entrance lowered her phone. Evelyn said, "You expect us to believe you are donating $2 million? I expect you to process a valid instrument. People do not walk in dressed like this and give away that kind of money." The printer kept moving. No one in line spoke. Paper slid over paper with a dry, steady rasp. Nadia tore off the confirmation sheet. Ms. Price, the system says verified. Evelyn folded it once and placed it face down. Mr. Reed, produce the deed. I brought the closing packet. And proof the land belonged to you. That is in the packet. Tax records, too. Marcus opened the satchel. The brass clasp clicked. Folders were aligned beneath Miriam's photograph. Nadia said quietly, "Those documents are not part of check verification." "I decide what is necessary in this branch," Evelyn said. Marcus removed the sale agreement, but kept it in his hand. "Call the issuing bank. Use the number from your directory. Confirm it with a person." Evelyn's gaze fixed on the folder. "Documents can be fabricated," she said. Behind her, the printer produced one final page and stopped. The last page slid into the tray. Nadia reached for it, but Evelyn caught it first. "Verified," Nadia said. The issuer confirmed it twice. Evelyn scanned the green line, then placed the paper face down. Automated responses can be manipulated. Marcus held the sale agreement. "Then call the issuing bank. I am not taking instructions from you. You asked for proof. I am offering the fastest way to obtain it." Owen stepped closer. The monitor reflected in his glasses. Verified. No exception found. "Mr. Pike," Marcus said, "do you see any warning?" "I see a pending review." "That is not what I asked." Cool air moved across the counter. Near the vault, a cartwheel squeaked. Evelyn pulled the check from the scanner. "This branch will not accept it." "Return it then." "No." Nadia's chair rolled back. "We cannot keep a valid instrument without documenting a hold." "Sit down." "Please give it back." Customers watched. Ruth Bell's purse strap had twisted around her fingers. The guard studied the floor. Marcus set down the closing packet. "You have my identification, the deed, the sale agreement, and 2 confirmations. What remains unresolved?" Evelyn held the check between 2 fingers. "The fact that none of this makes sense." "To whom?" "To anyone with judgment." A man near the coffee station raised his phone. Ethan Cole, 41, owned the cafe nearby and wore a flour-dusted black coat. "Sir," the guard said, "recording is not permitted." Ethan did not lower it. "Then ask her to stop performing for the room." "Remove him." Marcus turned slightly. "Do not create another problem to avoid this one." "You don't control my staff." "No, policy does." The clock changed to 9:17. Evelyn looked at the check, then at Marcus's jacket. For one breath, The lobby contracted around the paper. "You people always arrive with a story," she said. Nadia stood. "What does that mean?" "It means I know fraud when I see it." Marcus's voice stayed low. "Then preserve the document and report your concern accurately." Evelyn pinched the upper edge. The paper tore with a dry crack. She pulled again. The halves separated. No one gasped. The lobby music had stopped, leaving only the vent and the cartwheel. One half spun toward the brochure rack. The other landed near Marcus's shoe. Nadia covered her mouth. Owen stared at the green verification line. His hand moved toward the mouse. Marcus bent, but the guard stepped between him and the paper. "Don't touch anything." "That belongs to me." Evelyn dropped the second half. It was fraudulent property. "You have no finding that says that. I am the manager. And now you are the person who destroyed it." Ethan's phone stayed raised. Evelyn saw the red recording light. "Call the police." The guard hesitated. "For what?" "For attempted fraud and refusal to leave." Marcus closed the packet, aligned its corners, and returned it to the satchel. His hand paused over Miriam's photograph. Nadia turned to Owen. "Tell her what the screen showed." He looked from Evelyn to the customers, then minimized the verification window. "I didn't see enough," he said. Evelyn lifted the desk phone. Marcus watched the darkened screen. "Preserve that statement, too." Evelyn pressed the call button with one lacquered nail. "Police dispatch? This is Bellwether Community Bank. We have a man attempting to pass a fraudulent $2 million check. He is refusing to leave." Marcus looked at the glass doors. "I have not been asked to leave." "You are being asked now." "I will leave when you return my identification and document the destruction." The guard, Howard Finch, moved to the entrance and turned the lock. The bolt clicked through the lobby. Ruth Bell stared at him. "Why are you locking us in?" "For everyone's safety." "From whom?" Howard said nothing. At 9:20, Nadia reached for Marcus's license. Evelyn stopped her hand. "That is evidence." "It is his identification," Nadia said. Owen stood at the workstation with the verification window minimized. Marcus's phone vibrated. Sarah Kim's message filled the screen. Seller moved signing to 5. Confirmation required or building goes to backup buyer. He typed, "Delay at bank. Preserve all emails." Evelyn was still speaking to dispatch. "Yes, he became argumentative when challenged." "Please include that I remained because you retained my property," Marcus said. She turned away. Ethan's phone followed her. "I recorded the whole thing." "You are interfering with an investigation." "No investigation exists yet." Howard stepped toward him. Marcus moved half a pace between them. "Do not touch his phone." Howard stopped. The clock changed to 9:23. Evelyn ended the call and opened Marcus's account profile. "I'm placing a fraud restriction until compliance reviews this." Nadia leaned over the divider. "That freezes every linked account." "That is the purpose." "The Legal Center's account is linked." Evelyn clicked confirm. A red banner spread across the screen. Marcus's jaw tightened once. "Print the reason code. You will receive notice by mail." "Print it now." Owen whispered. "The code says customer behavior." Nadia faced him. "What behavior?" He looked down. Marcus's phone rang. "Marcus, what happened?" Sarah asked. "The deposit is delayed." "How delayed?" "I don't know. If we cannot show cleared funds by Vive, the owner signs with the developer." "Ask for 1 hour." "I did. His attorney said your promise is not collateral." "Miriam built this place from a rented room and 2 folding chairs," Sarah said. Don't disappear into procedure." The line ended. Marcus rested his fingers on the satchel clasp, but they would not close. Evelyn printed the restriction notice and folded it before he could read it. Outside, a patrol car stopped at the curb. Officer Tessa Ward entered alone, bringing a ribbon of cold air. "Who called?" "I did," Evelyn said. "He attempted fraud and became disruptive." "Sir, did you threaten anyone?" "No." "Refused to leave?" "I requested my identification and the pieces of my check." Tessa glanced down. One torn half lay near the brochure stand. "Who destroyed that?" "I did," Evelyn answered, "to prevent further use." Tessa stopped writing. Marcus's phone lit again. "Leah, please tell me you're on your way to the center." Before he could answer, Howard pulled the interior blind across the locked door. The blind struck the glass with a soft plastic rattle. Tessa Ward turned toward Howard. "Open it." "He told me to secure the entrance," Howard said, nodding at Evelyn. "I'm telling you to open it now." Cold air returned when the lock released. Ruth Bell stepped outside first, but stopped beneath the awning instead of leaving. Ethan remained inside with his phone lowered against his chest. Tessa faced Marcus. "I'm not placing you under arrest. I do need everyone separated while I establish what happened." "That is reasonable," Marcus said. Evelyn folded her arms. "He should not be allowed near the counters. Then he can sit in the interview room." Howard guided Marcus through a narrow door behind the lobby. The room held a metal table, 2 chairs, and a vent that blew directly onto the wall. Its fluorescent light flickered once before settling. Tessa left the door open. Marcus sat. The chair's front edge pressed cold through his trousers. He set the satchel on the table and tried to close the brass clasp. His thumb slipped twice. From the lobby came Evelyn's clipped voice. The amount was inconsistent with his profile. Nadia answered. "The system verified it. Stay at your station." Marcus opened the satchel instead. Miriam's photograph had shifted beneath the closing papers. Behind it lay a folded note in her slanted handwriting, soft along the creases from years of being opened. He had forgotten placing it there. "Marcus, grief can make a courtroom out of every room. Do not spend what remains of your life proving that pain was right. Keep your hands open. Let people surprise you." He read the final line twice. His phone lit with Leah's name. "Dad?" "I'm here." "Where is here?" "A room behind the bank lobby." Her breathing changed. "Are you detained?" "Temporarily separated." "That is a judge's answer. It is the accurate one." "The center called me. The backup buyer is already at the building." Marcus pressed his palm against the chair's metal edge. "I may not reach Sarah before 5. "You promised, Mom." "I know." "No, you promised all of us." Leah's voice thinned. "Every year, you miss dinner, birthdays, sleep, because one more person needs you to fix a system. Today was supposed to be ours." Marcus looked at the note. "I thought finishing the center would bring her closer. It keeps you where she died." The vent clicked off. The sudden quiet exposed the lobby beyond the door. Keys tapping. A printer starting. Someone whispering. "Delete what?" Marcus lowered his head. For several seconds he could not answer. When he finally spoke, his voice was rougher. "I am sorry." Leah said nothing. Not anger, not forgiveness. Only the small sound of her breath. Then the call ended. The black screen reflected his bent shoulders and the pale strip of paper trembling between his fingers. Tessa appeared in the doorway. "Mr. Reed, Chief Cross is on his way. Someone contacted him directly." Marcus folded Miriam's note along its old lines. "Who?" "I don't know." Across the lobby, Nadia stood beside the printer with a warm sheet curling in her hand. Owen reached toward the workstation, and the verification screen vanished. Nadia pulled the curling sheet from the printer before Owen could reach it. "Don't touch this." His hand stopped above the tray. "You're removing internal material." "I'm preserving a transaction record." Evelyn crossed the lobby. "Give it to me." Nadia backed against Station 3. The warm paper trembled in her fingers beneath the cold fluorescent panels. Verified. Issuer confirmation complete. "Ms. Flores, that document belongs to the bank." "So does the system entry you changed." Owen's face drained. "I didn't change anything." "You minimized the verification page, then opened the exception menu." "That was routine." "Routine doesn't erase a timestamp." Tessa entered from the interview room doorway. "Nobody deletes, closes, or alters anything else." Evelyn pointed at Nadia. "She is handling confidential records." Tessa held out her hand. "Then I'll take custody of it." Nadia glanced at Marcus. He remained seated beyond the open door, Miriam's folded note beside his phone. "Make a copy first," he said. Evelyn snapped. "He does not direct this branch." "No," Tessa replied, "but that is sensible." The copier began feeding paper with a low hum. Customers watched the green line vanish beneath the lid and reappear on the copy. Ethan raised his phone again. Owen leaned toward Evelyn. "The audit team will see the override." "Not if the note explains it." "What note?" "The customer behavior flag." Nadia heard him. "You marked him before police arrived?" Evelyn looked toward the clock. At 9:31, Nadia took both pages from the tray. One went to Tessa. She folded the other and slipped it inside her cardigan. "You're suspended," Evelyn said. Nadia removed her silver hair clip, set it beside the keyboard, and let her curls fall. "Then I'm off the clock." She walked to the side office, where emergency contacts hung behind the door. Marcus's open packet showed a judicial review seal and Daniel Cross's direct number. Nadia dialed. A rough voice answered. "Cross. My name is Nadia Flores. I work at Bellwether Community Bank. A customer named Marcus Reed is being held after our manager destroyed a verified cashier's check." The line went quiet. "Describe him." "Late 50s. Black. Gray beard. Silver glasses. Charcoal jacket." "Brown leather satchel?" "Yes. Put Officer Ward on." Nadia covered the receiver. "Chief Cross wants you." Tessa took the phone. "Yes, Chief. No arrest. The instrument was torn before I arrived. I have the verification printout." Daniel's reply was too low to hear. "Understood." She ended the call and faced Evelyn. "Chief Cross is coming personally. Until he arrives, nobody leaves with files, and nobody touches a terminal." Evelyn gave a brittle laugh. "For a disputed check?" "For what may have happened after it was verified." Owen stepped away from the keyboard as if it had become hot. Nadia returned to Station 3 and opened the audit log in read-only mode. 3 entries appeared. Verification at 9:13, manager override at 9:18, customer behavior flag at 9:19. Then a 4th line populated. Delete request. User, O. Pike, 9:29. The copier stopped humming. Nadia turned the screen toward Tessa. "Owen," she said, "what were you trying to erase?" Owen stared at the 4th line until the letters blurred. "I clicked the wrong option." Nadia kept the screen turned toward Tessa. "The delete request requires 2 confirmations." "I was reopening the record." "You entered your password twice." Evelyn stepped between them. "This is an internal matter." Tessa shifted so the monitor remained visible. "Not anymore." An unmarked vehicle stopped beneath the awning. Daniel Cross entered with his cap in one hand, moving with deliberate economy. Cold rain followed him across the mat, and the door's hydraulic arm sighed shut behind him. He saw the torn check. Then Marcus in the interview room doorway. Daniel stopped. "Your Honor." The title crossed the lobby more quietly than a shout. Evelyn's face emptied. Owen gripped the counter. Ruth Bell froze outside. Marcus rose. "Chief." Daniel removed his cap. "Are you all right?" "Secure the evidence first." Tessa pointed toward the paper halves. "Photographed, not collected. I have the verification record. There is also a deletion request." Daniel looked at Nadia. "You called?" "Yes." "Thank you." Evelyn found her voice. He never identified himself as a judge. "I identified myself as Marcus Reed." Marcus said, "You concealed your position." "My position was irrelevant to the transaction." Daniel faced her. "Did you destroy the check?" "I prevented suspected fraud." "After verification?" The result was preliminary. Nadia unfolded the warm printout. "2 issuer confirmations," she said. "No exception found." Daniel crouched beside the nearest half. "Officer Ward, collect each piece separately. Photograph the printer log, every terminal, and the customer behavior flag. You cannot seize bank records without authorization. I am preserving evidence while we determine what occurred. Against him? Against anyone." Marcus's phone vibrated. Sarah's message read, "Backup buyer arrived." Final decision at 5. Daniel noticed. "Another emergency? A legal center may lose its building because the deposit was blocked. I can contact the owner. No special intervention. Then what do you want?" "An accurate record." Evelyn gave a brittle laugh. "After he walks in knowing the police chief personally?" Daniel turned to the customers. "Did anyone see Judge Reed threaten an employee?" No one answered. Ethan raised his phone. "I recorded everything. He asked for his check. She tore it." Ruth came inside. "And they served people ahead of him before they knew the amount." Howard lowered his eyes. Daniel faced Owen. "Did the system verify the instrument?" Owen swallowed. "Yes." "Did you try to delete the entry?" Evelyn said, "Do not answer without counsel." Owen looked at the audit line bearing his name. "Yes." The wall clock clicked to 9:37. Daniel set his cap on the counter. Nobody leaves. Nobody edits a file. Compliance receives every log from the moment Judge Reed entered. Marcus stepped toward the evidence sleeves. "Chief, preserve the manager's exact words." Evelyn folded her arms. "Which words?" "The ones she used before tearing the check." Behind Nadia, the printer started by itself. A new page emerged. Remote compliance access initiated. The printer fed the compliance notice into Nadia's hands. Remote session locked. Preserve all records. A second message appeared on every terminal. Do not shut down. Evelyn reached for her office computer. Tessa stepped in front of her. "Hands away from the keyboard." "I need to contact Regional." "They are already here," Nadia said. The doors opened at 9:42. Helen Voss entered carrying a gray case. The 50-year-old compliance investigator had cropped pale hair and studied the room before speaking. "Who is branch manager?" "I am," Evelyn said. Helen looked at the torn check in evidence sleeves, then at Marcus. "And the customer?" "Marcus Reed." "Judge Reed," Daniel added. "His title is not relevant to my review." Marcus inclined his head. "Thank you." She opened the case. Inside were seals, a portable drive, and a camera. "Officer Ward, preserve your notes. Chief Cross, I need chain of custody. Ms. Flores, show me the original verification." Nadia unfolded the warm printout. Helen compared it with the screen. 2 confirmations at 9:13. Manager override at 9:18. Conduct flag at 9:19. She looked at Evelyn. When did you call police? About 9:20. So, you classified his behavior first. He was confrontational, Marcus said. What did I do? You questioned my authority. Helen's pen stopped. That is disagreement, not conduct. Rain ticked against the glass. Ethan waited near the coffee station, phone in hand. You recorded this? Helen asked. From before the check was torn. Airplane mode? Do not send it. Ethan obeyed. Helen connected the drive. Progress bars crawled across Nadia's monitor as the copier clicked. Security video first. The lobby appeared from above. Marcus holding A017. Another customer waved ahead, Nadia calling him forward. At 9:13, Evelyn leaned over the green verification screen. 9:17. She tore the check. At 9:18, Owen minimized the result. At 9:19, Evelyn typed the conduct flag while Marcus stood beside the counter. Helen replayed the sequence. Mr. Pike, did you know the check was verified? Yes. Why did you tell Officer Ward you had not seen enough? Evelyn cut in. He followed my direction. Helen turned. Did you direct him to conceal the result? No. Owen stared at his image on the screen. She said the audit couldn't see another exception. That is not what I said. You said, make the record match the risk. The copier stopped. Every breath seemed exposed. Helen opened the transaction narrative. The first version read, Customer calm, requested issuer call. A later version read, Customer aggressive, refused to leave, possible fraud. Both carried Evelyn's credentials. Why was the first description replaced? Helen asked. Evelyn touched her pearl earring. I clarified it. No, Helen said. You changed the event after the event. Marcus's phone lit again. Seller's attorney requesting final confirmation. He turned it face down. Helen sealed the drive in a clear bag. This branch is under formal review. No one accesses these systems without my approval. Nadia pointed to a fifth entry appearing at the bottom of the screen. External archive copy created. 9:21. Helen leaned closer. Who sent the records outside the branch? The archive is automatic, Nadia said. It mirrors any transaction marked for deletion. Helen Voss checked the code. State Banking Oversight. Immutable copy. Owen sagged against the counter. Evelyn said nothing. At 10:06, Helen asked Marcus to sign a witness statement. He read every line, crossed out, became upset, and replaced it with requested preservation of his property. Then he handed back the pen. I will not review this matter in any judicial capacity, he said. Send everything to an outside regulator. Daniel frowned. You are the injured party. That is precisely why. Marcus looked toward the lobby clock. And the legal center? Helen lowered her voice. The restriction cannot be lifted until the transaction is reconstructed. How long? Not before 5. The answer landed harder than the accusation. 3 days later, an independent hearing convened in a municipal room. Marcus's nameplate had been removed at his request. Arthur Mason, 61, an outside regulator with a habit of aligning every page before speaking, opened the record. Judge Reed has recused himself from all review. He will appear only as a witness. Nadia testified first. She described the green verification line, the override, and Evelyn's order to treat inconsistency as suspicion. Why did you wait until after the check was torn? Arthur asked. Nadia touched the empty place where her hair clip usually sat. Because I wanted to keep my job. And why did you act? Because keeping it began to feel worse. Tessa testified that Marcus had remained calm and had been denied his identification. Ethan's video played without sound. Customers watched Evelyn raise the check. Ruth covered her mouth before the tear. When it was Ruth's turn, she kept both hands flat on the table. "I knew he was being treated differently before I knew who he was," she said. "That should have been enough." No one looked at Marcus's empty chair. Marcus gave his statement last. He described the verification, the destroyed check, and the account freeze. He did not mention his title until Arthur asked him to confirm it. At 4:48, Leah found him alone in the corridor. Rain traced the courthouse windows. "The building was sold," she said. Marcus removed his glasses. "Sarah told me." "To the backup buyer?" "Yes. Mom's office will be gone by January." He folded the cleaning cloth once, then again. "I am trying to recover the funds." "This is not about the funds." Leah stepped closer. "You gave the system your time, your patience, even your silence. When it took the last thing she built, you still protected the process. I protected the integrity of the case. You protected everyone except us." The elevator bell sounded. Neither moved. Marcus looked through the glass at the empty hearing room, his unused chair under white light. "I thought dignity meant not asking for special treatment," he said. Leah's voice dropped. "Sometimes it means admitting you were hurt." She pressed Miriam's old office key into his palm and walked away before the doors closed. Inside, Arthur called for Marcus. On the table waited the final audit report, Evelyn's personnel file, and Owen Pike's signed statement marked full cooperation. Arthur Mason waited until Marcus sat, then slid the audit report across the table. Page 7. The paper smelled of toner. Marcus found the marked paragraph: deliberate override, destroyed instrument, false behavioral notation, attempted suppression of records. Evelyn sat beside a cardboard box holding a certificate, binders, and a mug in tissue. Her badge lay on the table, its blue cord curled against the box. Arthur aligned Owen Pike's statement with the report. "Mr. Pike confirms Ms. Price told him to make the record match the risk. He also admits trying to delete the verification entry." Owen's chair creaked. "I knew it was wrong." "Before police arrived?" Arthur asked. "Yes." "And you stayed silent?" Owen looked toward Nadia. "Yes. He is protecting himself. He cooperated after the archive blocked deletion," Helen Voss said. "That limits his courage, not the evidence." Arthur turned a page. "The bank terminated Ms. Price for cause. The state board will bar her from managing a regulated branch while licensing action is pending. Mr. Pike is removed from supervision and placed under compliance restriction." Evelyn's earring clicked against her fingernail. "This was one decision," she said. "One morning under pressure." Nadia answered first. "It was 6. You moved him back, announced the amount, ignored verification, tore the check, changed the record, called police." Marcus closed the report. "What happens to the conduct flag?" "Expunged," Helen said. "Restrictions lifted. A replacement instrument is authorized." "The building was sold." Arthur lowered his eyes. "We know." Evelyn looked at Marcus instead of his title card. "I apologize, Your Honor." Marcus touched Miriam's office key through his pocket. "Do not begin with me." "Ms. Flores lost her position because she preserved the truth. Your staff learned silence was safer than policy. Customers watched suspicion become fact." "Apologize without explaining your pressure," Marcus said. "An apology with a defense attached is another argument." Evelyn stood too quickly. Chair legs scraped the floor. She faced Nadia. "I punished you for doing the job correctly. I made you choose between your paycheck and the truth. I am sorry." Nadia looked at the badge beside the box. You taught us to measure customers before documents. Evelyn's shoulders lowered. Yes. Owen rose. I saw the green line. I thought keeping my job meant supporting her. No, Nadia said. It meant leaving me alone at the counter. He nodded. I know. Outside, reporters waited behind the rail. Evelyn stopped with the box against her ribs. She read a statement accepting responsibility, then removed the last paragraph when it began with however. Marcus watched from the corridor. Leah stood near the elevator. Did that help? No. Did it matter? Yes. He placed Miriam's office key in her palm. Keep it for now. Why? I have been treating memory like property I could save by holding tighter. Behind them, Arthur opened a folder stamped Proposed Corrective Actions. Judge Reed, the bank wants your recommendations by tomorrow. Marcus looked at Nadia, then at the badge beside the empty box. Then they should hear hers first. Nadia did not sit until Arthur Mason moved the microphone toward her. The room smelled of stale coffee and wool. Rain tapped the windows while Helen Voss arranged policy drafts. Arthur folded his hands. Ms. Flores, what failed first? The rule was clear, Nadia said. The manager decided appearance mattered more than verification. Malcolm Gray shifted. We can retrain staff. Marcus stood near the wall. Training without enforcement becomes theater. Then what do you propose? 2 employees approve any override after an issuer confirms a large instrument, Nadia said. Neither reports to the other. Helen added, the original verification stays visible. And disputed documents? Scanned, sealed, and returned, unless law enforcement orders otherwise. No employee destroys anything. Malcolm rubbed the page. That slows service. So did losing the building, Marcus replied. The room went still, except for rain sliding down the glass. Leah's fingers closed around Miriam's office key. Arthur moved to the next draft. Independent complaint line? Outside branch management, Nadia said. Every complaint gets a tracking number. Anonymous staff reports too, Helen said. Automatic preservation after a deletion request. Malcolm exhaled. This is more than one branch correction. That is the point. By noon, the pages were crowded with changes. Nadia replaced customer profile risk with documented transaction risk. Helen added unannounced audits. Arthur required public reporting of override rates. Malcolm leaned back. The bank is prepared to offer Judge Reed a substantial settlement. Marcus placed both palms on the table. I will accept documented losses and legal costs. The rest funds customer protection and the center. The center no longer has a building, Malcolm said. Then help it find one. You are declining personal damages. I am declining a price for silence. At 2:18, Malcolm signed the package. Helen signed beneath him. Arthur added his name last. 2 signatures appeared on every override procedure beside a reconstructed copy of the check. Nadia stared at the blank line marked Program Director. Malcolm offered her the pen. The position is yours. She did not take it. Authority? A title and staff. Budget? A defined annual budget. Protection from retaliation? Helen slid an addendum across the table. Already written. Only then did Nadia sign. Marcus watched her cap the pen. One good employee cannot repair a system alone. I know. That's why reports go outside my office, too. In the corridor, Leah waited beside a humming vending machine. You gave away most of the settlement. It was never meant to become mine. She would have argued with you. Miriam argued professionally. Leah almost smiled. Then she placed the office key in his hand. The backup buyer called Sarah. Public pressure delayed demolition for 30 days. Marcus closed his fingers around the cold brass. That is not enough. No, Leah said, but it is time. Down the hall, Malcolm opened the branch-wide notice. At the top were 4 words Marcus had insisted upon. Verify the document, not the person. His phone rang before he finished reading. Sarah's name lit the screen. Sarah's voice came through before Marcus reached the corridor. The buyer paused the sale, she said. 30 days became 90. The bank agreed to guarantee the lease while we negotiate. Marcus leaned against the cool wall. Leah stood beside him, Miriam's office key in her palm. Is that enough? It is enough to keep the lights on. 3 weeks later, the legal center reopened under a temporary lease. Volunteers carried folding tables through the narrow entrance while rain darkened the sidewalk. Leah set Miriam's photograph on the front desk, the same amber leaf tucked beneath one corner. You kept that? Marcus asked. She did, Leah said, nodding at the photograph. So did you. In the first consultation room, Nadia trained employees from 6 branches on the new verification rules. Every large instrument now required 2 independent approvals. Any override created an automatic archive, and disputed documents had to be scanned, sealed, and returned. Complaints were assigned outside branch management, with monthly reports sent to the regulator and made public. Ruth Bell attended the first session and asked the hardest questions. Ethan provided his recording for training, then deleted his public copy after the evidence process ended. Tessa Ward helped write the police protocol for financial disputes, verify facts before accepting a manager's version. Evelyn's termination became final. Her management license was suspended pending review, and she entered a compliance program before taking clerical work at a small accounting office. Owen accepted a permanent demotion, completed ethics training, and spent 6 months assisting the audit. He never asked Nadia to excuse him. One morning, he sent a note. I should have spoken before the paper tore. Nadia folded it into the policy binder without replying. By winter, the bank's first public report showed 32 challenged overrides, 11 reverse decisions, and 4 managers referred for retraining. Malcolm Gray expanded the protections statewide after regulators found similar informal practices at other branches. The changes did not erase the morning at Station 3, but they made silence harder to hide. On opening night, the center's windows glowed across the wet street. The replacement $2 million check had cleared months earlier, and most of the settlement funded the building purchase, free consultations, and an emergency defense fund. The largest room now carried Miriam Reed's name. Leah found Marcus alone there, turning the old office key between his fingers. Are you staying for dinner? Yes. She waited, and I wrote it down. This time she laughed fully. Near the photograph lay a plain envelope from Evelyn. There was no request for forgiveness, only 3 lines. I measured you before I read the document. I trained others to do the same. I am trying to stop. Marcus placed the letter beneath the amber leaf. Does that change anything? Leah asked. It changes what she does next. And what changed for you? He closed his hand around the key, then opened it. I stopped confusing endurance with duty. Outside, Nadia locked the front doors after the last client left. Marcus turned off the consultation room lamp, leaving only the photograph in the warm spill from the hallway. The leaf no longer looked dry. Have you ever watched someone be judged before the facts were checked, or seen a quiet person forced to defend their dignity against a system that had already decided who they were? Share your experience in the comments, especially what helped the truth come forward. Send this story to someone who believes dignity should never depend on clothing, status, age, or the size of a bank account. Subscribe for more stories about justice, quiet resilience, and the changes that happen when ordinary people refuse to stay silent. And remember the witnesses in this story. One recording, one printed page, one honest statement, and one refusal to look away were enough to preserve what others tried to erase.